Have you ever had that feeling you're being watched? For babysitters, that feeling can turn into a nightmare. Here are 5 terrifying stories from babysitters that will make you think twice before taking the job. I was watching 2 kids, a brother and sister, in a big old house. It was getting late when the landline suddenly rang. I picked it up, expecting it to be their parents, but instead, a man's voice, raspy and low, whispered, "Check the upstairs window." My heart dropped. I knew for a fact the curtains in the kids' room were already closed. Every nerve in my body screamed not to look, but I had to. I crept up the stairs, my hand shaking as I parted the heavy fabric just a tiny bit. I saw my own reflection in the dark glass, my face pale with fear. But behind me in the reflection was a man, crouching in the dim hallway. I spun around, but there was nothing there. The police came and found a set of muddy footprints leading from the back door, but no other trace of him. To this day, every single night at exactly 9:13 p.m., I swear I can still hear a phone ringing. Next, we have a story that will make you rethink every doll you've ever seen. The little girl I was looking after had this antique porcelain doll she kept on her dresser. It was creepy, with cracked paint and glassy eyes that seemed to follow you. One night, I was on the couch downstairs when the girl came and fell asleep next to me. A little while later, I heard a faint giggling sound coming from her room upstairs. I figured the baby monitor was picking up a neighbor or something, but it kept going. I went up to check, and my blood ran cold. The girl was still sound asleep in her bed, but the doll, its head was turned facing the doorway, and its painted lips were stretched into a terrifying, unnatural smile. When the parents got home, I mentioned the doll, and they looked at me, completely confused. They swore they had never owned a doll like that. The story gets worse. The following week, another babysitter they hired disappeared from that same room. She was never found. This next one happened on a quiet suburban street. The house was dead silent, the kids were asleep, and I was just scrolling on my phone. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something. I looked toward the sliding glass door that led to the backyard and saw a face. It was pale, with dark, hollow eyes, just staring in at me. I screamed, grabbed the kids, and locked us all in the bathroom while I called 911. The police arrived within minutes, searched the entire property, but found nothing. They told me the strangest part was that the dirt and mulch right outside the glass door showed no footprints at all, as if no one had ever been there. Later that night, after the police left and I finally calmed down, I went to tuck the kids back into bed. As I quietly closed their closet door, I saw it again. The same pale face waiting for me inside the darkness of the closet. That closet door never stays shut now. It always creaks open on its own. Some jobs are just wrong from the start. I was hired by a couple I'd never met to watch their baby for the evening. When I got there, they were in a huge hurry to leave. They pointed to a crib and rushed out the door. For hours, the house was silent. Too silent. The baby didn't cry, didn't coo, didn't even move. I kept checking, and all I saw were these wide, unblinking eyes staring at the ceiling. Finally, I decided I had to change her diaper. As I reached into the crib, I touched her skin. It was cold. I realized she wasn't breathing. Panicked, I called 911. The paramedics and police arrived just as the parents were pulling into the driveway. But when the officers started asking them questions, the parents looked at them blankly and insisted, "We don't have a baby." They acted like I was a complete stranger who had broken into their house. I was taken to the station for questioning, and I never saw that couple or the baby ever again. My last story was supposed to be the easiest babysitting job ever. Pizza, cartoons, and an early bedtime for the 2 sweet kids. Everything was going perfectly until I heard it. Slow, deliberate footsteps coming from the empty upstairs hallway. I looked at the kids, and their eyes were wide with fear. The little boy whispered, "She's back." Thinking it was a prank or maybe a relative had come home early, I went to investigate. I checked every room, every closet, under every bed. The entire upstairs was empty. When I came back down, the living room was silent. The kids were gone. The TV was off. And sitting on the couch where they had just been was a small folded note. It read, "Thanks for bringing them home." When I called the parents, hysterical, they told me the truth. Their children had died in a car accident 2 years earlier, on their way home from their grandmother's house. Thanks for watching. If these stories didn't scare you away from babysitting, make sure to like and subscribe for more chills. Stay safe out there.